Well, that was a pain just to clean the gun or put in your plug if you want to go duck hunting. Newer Remington 870s use a spring retainer to secure the magazine spring inside the tube. Some retainers are like this one, which you have to pry out, like you just saw me do. And then to put it back in, you got to force it back in. As you can see, this isn't real easy on the finish or your tools or the plug itself and in the magazine. They tend to get nicked up. I've only done this a couple times on mine and it's already showing a little wear. Other types have a couple detents in here. They use a plastic piece that locks into those. It's a little easier to get to, but it's still a hassle. And then if you want to put any magazine extension on the end of that, they're going to interrupt the follower, and you can't do that. No matter what type you have, it's really not necessary. The older ones didn't have it, and it's just a hassle when you're configuring. So today I'm going to show you a little trick that lets you replace these annoying retainers with a standard magazine follower. Makes the gun much easier to take down, reconfigure, and reassemble. So I'm going to put this back together and show you the whole step-by-step. Now, a lot of 870 owners choose to upgrade the stock follower with a higher end part that's more durable and reliable, like this excellent and reasonably priced Delrin follower from S&J Hardware. It's a nice upgrade, and you can use your old follower to replace the retainer. If you don't intend to replace your original follower, you can probably find one in a local gun shop, or you can just order one straight from Remington for $3.10 plus whatever shipping. So, first things first, you check the chamber and you check your magazine. Make sure your gun is unloaded. Then you make sure your safety is off. Safety first. Now, unscrew your magazine cap. If you can't get it off by hand, wrap a rag around it and use a pair of channel lock pliers. Just be gentle with it so you don't damage your finish. Then, as you saw me do earlier, take your forend back halfway, slide your barrel off, and that makes it a lot easier to work on this. Next, remove your spring retainer. Like mine here, you pry it out, or if you have the plastic one, you simply push it in past the detents, turn it 90 degrees, and it'll slide out. It's a little tough to explain that one, and I don't have one here to show you. Mine doesn't have the detents in it, but your owner's manual will have detailed instructions on that. And remember, your magazine spring is under compression even when it's empty, so don't point this at your face while you're doing it, and try to avoid sending parts flying, never to be seen again. So once you have your retainer out, don't throw it away. Put it in a baggie or an envelope. I like to use these empty prescription pill bottles. Label it if you need to, and store it with your other parts. Even if you're not sure you're going to need it. There are people always trying to disarm law-abiding gun owners, so there's a chance those parts may become difficult to obtain in the future. Always keep them. So now, to install your new magazine follower, and you can skip this step if you're not replacing your follower, you found a second one to use. But just pull out your spring and then remove your old follower just by tipping the gun down, letting it slide out. If it's stuck in there, it's dirty, you can also use your spring through here to push it out. Now, once you have that out, put your new follower in there and replace the spring. Now, if you ever installed a magazine extension on an 870, like this Remington Plus 3, you know that the end of the spring just sits against the metal. You know, it works fine. It doesn't need any kind of fancy retainer. And that goes for some of these caps as well, but some of them have ridges or ratcheting mechanisms inside This is an Uncle Mike's. The original 870 part does have those. They can catch on this, twist it up, damage it. So what you do is you take your old magazine cap and put it on the end of the spring. You'll notice that lets it spin pretty freely. So what you want to do first is slide your barrel back on. And then put your old follower on the end of the spring, push it in, and screw your cap on. Now, if you did have the plastic type of retainer and you have the detents in the tube, you'll need to line up this slot with the detents in order for it to go in properly. If you don't have them, or if you remove them, you just simply slide it on. There you go, simple as that. Check your function. Make sure your magazine's working properly with some snap caps, or if you don't have snap caps, just use some empty shells, fold the crimps back in and use those. That'll do the same thing. There, it works. So now, you saw me in the beginning opening it up. I'm going to show you how much easier it is now to take apart your magazine if you need to clean it or put your plug in. You just unscrew your cap, make sure it doesn't go flying, put in your plug, pop it back in. You know, less than a minute, less than 30 seconds probably. You don't need any tools, and you're ready to go just like that. I hope you found this video useful. This is kind of a new project for me, but I plan on doing a whole series of videos on just little tips and tricks with the excellent Remington 870 platform. If you have any comments on this video, questions on things I did here, please ask them. You shouldn't be doing any of this if you're not absolutely sure what you're doing, even if it's something simple like this. If you have suggestions for future topics or questions you'd like me to answer in a video, please suggest them. I'll take it under consideration. I'd like to thank my brother for being my cameraman here. I'd like to thank Cabela's for letting me take apart some of their other Remington 870 shotguns to test this, make sure it'd work on everything. And have fun, good shooting. Please stay safe and remember to be a positive representation of the shooting community.